I've tried to understand why it is that so many Americans who call themselves conservative uh, identify with Israel in the way they do. Certainly, the media, Holocaust propaganda, the educational system, Hollywood, all those things have played a role. Certainly, this has been part of the American political attitude for a long time. But it's more than that. I think that there is something among many white American conservative men who see Israel in a way that they would like the United States to be, like the way the United States they think used to be, a kick-ass country, a country that isn't apologetic, a country that when we don't like somebody, we knock them down. We do what we want to do, and to hell with it, what anybody else thinks. This is what Israel does. Their attitude is, we're right. We don't care what you think. We'll survive and we'll do what we want, and to hell with anybody else. And a lot of them, many Americans think, well, that's the way America used to be and the way America ought to be, and they identify with Israel. They justify it with Christianity, but it's an odd form of Christianity. It's not like Christians are in the rest of the world. It's a particularly American thing because it's tied up with a kind of exceptionalism for America. But Glenn Beck is not the only one who talks like this. In 2002, former President Bill Clinton spoke to a Jewish group, and he told that group that if Israel was in trouble, he would get a rifle, go into a trench, and fight and die for Israel. That's what Bill Clinton said. Now, why would he be like that? He's not a conservative, but he identifies with power. And Americans like the fact that Israel is a kick-ass country, a country that has a lot of power. If it was really weak, they wouldn't identify with it. That's the amazing thing. During World War II, when there was no state of Israel, conservatives didn't identify with Jews, quite the opposite. But they identify it because it is a powerful, kick-ass, take no prisoners kind of country. And they wish America were like that. And they had this kind of vague idea that Jews are our friends because they do that. That's a complete misreading of the reality. In fact, Jews will make an alliance with whoever is going to be helpful for their interests. And we're actually contemptuous of people like Glenn Beck or even of Bill Clinton because they know that these people are pandering to them. But anyway, this goes across the board. Joe Biden, when he was vice president in 2015, was explicit, telling a Jewish group that no group of Americans has had the impact on how Americans think and view the world as Jews do. Jews have profoundly affected how Americans think. And again, Glenn Beck, especially as a conservative, is a personification of a kind of conservatism that is utterly hypocritical. For example, DeSantis is the governor of Florida. He's proud of the fact, as other Republican states have done, to have passed a law making it illegal for the state of Florida to have any dealings with a person who's involved in a boycott of Israel. The only country that Americans in Florida and several other Republican states cannot boycott is Israel if they want to have dealings with the state of Florida. In other words, but this is extraordinary. You can organize a boycott of Saudi Arabia or even of another American state or of Canada or Mexico, and that's okay. But if you organize a boycott of Israel, oh boy, no, you can't. That's bad, bad, bad. This is part of the tremendous hypocrisy of those people who call themselves conservative in America. They say Black nationalism is bad. Oh, that divides America. They say white nationalism is bad. But Jewish nationalism, which is Zionism, that's just great. Wonderful. Thumbs up for Jewish nationalism, but not for any other form of nationalism in America. If Jews in America show a strong ethnic identity of their own in America and an identity with Israel, that's just fine with these conservatives. But every other ethnic group is supposed to just think of themselves as individuals, as Americans. We're all the same. And Glenn Beck and the statement that I quoted earlier from Bill Clinton underscores a kind of schizophrenia, a kind of confusion based on the fact that these people have no real solid identity of their own. Glenn Beck, he'll say, why am I leaving? Why am I embracing a group or a faith or a thing that's not my own? That's a good question. Why is he? Because he thinks it's true? Well, that's not what Christians used to believe. Christians used to believe, and are supposed to believe, that Jews have not accepted Jesus, that they are people who are fallen. They're doomed. But that's not what he believes, because his version of Christianity is not really one that's consistent at all with what Christians have believed and should believe based on what the Gospels, what the New Testament says, because they don't have a really solid identity of their own. That's true of Bill Clinton, it's true of Glenn Beck, and it's true today of most white Americans. They don't have much of an identity except a kind of fuzzy, vague American one. And for many people like Glenn Beck, what they crave is some sort of masculine, definite, strong identity, and Israel seems to have that, and that's what Glenn Beck is reaching out for. And it's one of the reasons why people are contemptuous of those who call themselves conservative and of all the mainline Republicans, because they are completely hypocritical in this thing. They are really bowing to power, not to any principle.